Have you ever stood at a crossroads in life and sensed there might be a deeper path hidden beyond your daily routines and obligations? A path that goes beyond momentary desires and fleeting ambitions. Something that could bring you a profound sense of clarity, purpose, and inner calm. Many of us search for this path in modern self-help books or quick-fix strategies. Yet sometimes the wisest guidance lies in a more unexpected place. 4 centuries ago, at the twilight of his life, a legendary Japanese swordsman named Miyamoto Musashi secluded himself in a mountain cave. Although he had lived by the sword, emerging victorious in duel after duel, his final work was not a treatise on battle tactics. Instead, it was a concise yet transformative reflection on how to live a life of integrity and purpose. He called it Dokudo, or the way of walking alone. Musashi's words have endured across continents and centuries, and it's not merely because of his reputation as an invincible warrior. Beneath the surface of his martial prowess was a philosopher, artist, and seeker who understood that the real battlefield lies within us. He recognized that victory in life isn't about conquering others, but about overcoming one's own illusions and attachments. In Dokudo, he laid out 21 principles, simple statements that nonetheless carry the weight of a lifetime's wisdom. In our modern world, we often find ourselves pulled in countless directions, endless streams of information, societal expectations, restless desires. We may feel pressured to keep moving faster to acquire more or to prove our worth. Musashi's teachings challenge us to slow down, look inward, and question what truly matters. His philosophy is a reminder that our deepest sense of fulfillment doesn't depend on trends or surface-level achievements. It blooms from self-awareness, authenticity, and the courage to walk our own path, even if that path feels lonely at times. As we wander through Musashi's 21 principles, we will see that they touch nearly every aspect of the human experience: how we handle our desires, how we face grief and loss, how we relate to the people around us, and ultimately, how we reckon with our own mortality. Though Musashi penned these words long ago, they remain astonishingly relevant. By distilling life to its bare essentials, courage, integrity, and an unwavering commitment to discovering truth, he offers a guiding light for anyone feeling adrift in a complex world. Let us begin this journey of introspection and mindful living. We won't treat these principles as rigid commandments. Rather, we will explore them like friendly signposts on the winding road of life. Each principle invites us to peer into the heart of our own habits and impulses, gently encouraging us to trade aimless striving for a quiet but profound sense of self-mastery. By the end, you may find yourself rethinking the way you look at possessions, relationships, and the very notion of success. Accepting what is Musashi's first invitation is both simple and surprisingly challenging. Accept everything just the way it is. Think about the moments when life seems unfair, an unexpected setback at work, a friend who disappoints you, or a sudden obstacle in a well-laid plan. Our initial response might be anger or frustration. We so badly want life to match our expectations. Yet Musashi suggests that true power lies in meeting reality on its own terms. Acceptance is not passive resignation, it's clarity. When you accept that a traffic jam exists, you stop wasting energy fighting it. You might choose a new route or use that slow commute to reflect on something meaningful. By seeing situations plainly, you conserve emotional energy and sharpen your capacity to respond wisely. Practicing detachment from desires. Much of our anxiety stems from the fear that we won't get what we want, or that we'll lose what we've worked so hard to have. Musashi's view on desire is not about demonizing it. It's about noticing how much of our internal turbulence arises from being chained to craving. Consider how quickly the thrill of a new gadget or a new relationship can fade. When our happiness hinges on external objects, we become perpetual hunters, forever chasing the next spark. Musashi's principle of being detached from desire suggests a more liberating outlook. Enjoy what life offers, but do not let your identity or peace of mind be dictated by it. Like savoring a beautiful sunset without trying to freeze the sky at that perfect moment, because the sky will inevitably change, and so will we. Emotions versus wisdom. In our culture, follow your feelings has almost become a mantra. Yet Musashi counsels, do not depend on partial feelings. Emotions, while vital, can mislead us if we let them run the show without discernment. Anger flares up in an instant, clouding judgment. Lust drives impulsive decisions that might harm us or others. Even excitement can cause us to rush headlong into something we haven't fully understood. This isn't a call to be cold or unfeeling. It's an invitation to pause and reflect before reacting. Feelings can be powerful informants, but we should check them with inner wisdom. By noticing, naming, and gently questioning our emotions, we free ourselves from reacting blindly and learn to respond with intention. Thinking lightly of the self, deeply of the world. Our modern world often tells us, focus on yourself first. Certainly, self-care and self-respect matter. But thinking lightly of yourself and deeply of the world nudges us toward humility and empathy. Rather than viewing life as a stage where we must shine at all costs, we begin to see ourselves as participants in a much larger tapestry. When we adopt this broader perspective, our personal setbacks feel less catastrophic, and our acts of kindness grow more meaningful. We become stewards of a collective good rather than slaves to individual ego, moving beyond pleasures and distractions. We live in an era saturated with entertainment, from scrolling social feeds to binge-watching series, so it's easy to fall into habitual pleasure-seeking. Musashi's advice to not seek pleasure for its own sake may seem almost austere. But if we dig deeper, we find that he's pointing out how mindless indulgence can leave us feeling strangely empty afterward. Pleasure in moderation isn't the enemy. The problem arises when we distract ourselves from meaningful pursuits by constantly searching for the next rush. The fleeting buzz of a new purchase or an extravagant meal can soothe us momentarily, but pursuing it endlessly can become a trap. By reserving space in our lives for contemplative practices, skill building, or relationships that enrich our spirit, we discover forms of fulfillment that outlast any quick fix. Mastering strong emotions. Desires aren't the only forces that can derail us. Emotions like lust, jealousy, and resentment can be equally disruptive. Musashi reminds us, never be jealous and never let yourself be guided by lust or love alone. These feelings, when unchecked, can make us act in ways we later regret. A flicker of envy for someone else's success might tempt us into sabotage or constant self-comparison. Overwhelming lust or love can lead us to abandon reason or self-respect. Recognizing these emotions as natural, but refusing to let them rule our actions, is a delicate balance, like learning to ride a horse without letting it gallop out of control. We can still relish love, admiration, or desire. The key is staying anchored in our deeper values. Openness to life's flow. One of Musashi's more paradoxical teachings is, in all things have no preferences. Taken literally, it may sound like he wants us to live without opinions or pleasure. But in essence, he's pointing us toward flexibility. If we cling too tightly to personal preferences, we end up fighting reality whenever it diverges from our ideals. An unexpected turn of events can ruin our day if we're fixated on having things just so. By remaining open, willing to embrace changes in plans or new opportunities, we can transform disruptions into discoveries. It's like traveling without a rigid itinerary, giving ourselves room to experience hidden gems. Simplicity and moderation. Musashi's caution against pursuing the taste of good food or collecting possessions you no longer need echoes a broader theme of minimalism. The practice is not about deprivation, but recognizing that beyond a certain point, more stuff doesn't equate to more happiness. Our homes and minds can become cluttered with excess objects, tasks, digital distractions until we can't even see what truly matters. He invites us to keep what is genuinely beneficial and release what weighs us down. Think of it like pruning a garden. By trimming away the overgrowth, we allow the healthiest flowers to flourish. Questioning customary beliefs. Do not act. Following customary beliefs is a principle that feels especially modern. We inherit countless assumptions from culture, family, and peers. This is the way it's always been. People say as if tradition alone is reason enough. Musashi believed that blind adherence to collective norms can stifle genuine discovery. By questioning the systems we operate in our career paths, our definitions of success, our inherited biases, we give ourselves permission to craft a life aligned with our true values. Tradition isn't worthless, but it should be examined. Just as a swordsman needs to learn technique yet adapt freely in the heat of battle, we must be ready to modify or discard outdated ways that no longer serve us. Grief, loss, and the nature of change. Few forms of suffering rival the pain of separation, whether it's from loved ones or cherished dreams. Musashi doesn't trivialize this grief. Instead, he suggests that we should never let ourselves be consumed by the sadness of separation. If life is in constant motion, the people and circumstances we love cannot remain unchanging. Yet the beauty of what once was can become a source of gratitude rather than perpetual sorrow. Grief can be a powerful teacher, reminding us of the fragile wonder of every connection. By not collapsing into despair, we honor both the love we shared and the life we still have ahead. Letting go of complaints and resentment. Many of us know how draining it can feel when we stew in resentment or voice constant complaints. It's as though we're carrying bitterness in a backpack, and every grudge is another heavy stone. Musashi warns that resentment and constant complaint poison both ourselves and our environment. When we grumble incessantly, we fixate on negativity and overlook the ways we could adapt or heal. Releasing resentment takes emotional fortitude because it often requires forgiveness of ourselves, of others, of fate. Yet when the weight lifts, our path becomes lighter, and we can move forward with renewed energy. The power of adaptability. Be indifferent to where you live. That may seem odd in an age where we carefully curate our living spaces or dream of relocating to the perfect city. But this isn't an instruction to ignore your home or environment. It's an insight about finding contentment wherever you are. If we tie our happiness exclusively to a certain location, job, or ideal circumstance, we set ourselves up for restlessness whenever those conditions change. Cultivating adaptability means you carry peace within you like a portable home. That doesn't mean you stop striving for improvement. It simply means your inner equilibrium isn't held hostage by external conditions. True security and self-reliance. In a society that sometimes prizes hoarding wealth or collecting endless credentials, Musashi's caution is clear: don't collect weapons beyond what is useful. and don't obsess over material goods for old age. Over-preparing out of fear can become its own form of bondage, amassing so much that it starts to weigh on your spirit. Practicality has its place. It's wise to be prepared for life's uncertainties. But there's a point at which accumulation becomes an anchor instead of a lifeboat. Real security, Musashi suggests, emerges from skills, relationships, and virtues that endure even if your worldly possessions vanish. It's the confidence that you can adapt, create, and find purpose under shifting circumstances. The reminder of mortality, do not fear death. It's a daunting principle, and yet acknowledging life's impermanence can be profoundly liberating. We might shy away from the subject of death, but Musashi urges us to see it as part of the natural order, not a lurking terror. Like the petals of cherry blossoms that inevitably fall, our time here will end. This realization can spur us to live more wholeheartedly, to cherish moments we might otherwise take for granted. Ironically, when we stop seeing death as an unspeakable horror, it loses its grip on us, and we become more fully alive. Honor as your North Star. One of Musashi's final edicts is the idea that you may abandon your body, but you must preserve your honor. At its core, honor isn't about prideful arrogance or proving yourself better than others. It's a devotion to the principles you hold sacred, a steadfast commitment to truth, compassion, courage, or whichever virtues shape your conscience. In many ways, honor is the invisible thread that ties all these principles together. You can lose a battle, suffer setbacks, or endure failure, but if you remain true to your guiding beliefs, you walk with a dignity that transcends external outcomes. Faith and effort. Musashi also speaks to spiritual dimensions. Respect Buddha and the gods without counting on their help. The message here is not to reject faith, it's to acknowledge that ultimate responsibility lies in our own hands. Turning inward and acting with clarity and conviction is our true path forward. If we remain passive, waiting for external rescue, whether divine or human, we risk forfeiting our potential to shape our own destiny. Faith can certainly anchor us in difficult times, but Musashi insists that authentic faith and self-reliance walk hand in hand. Never stray from the way. At the very heart of Dokodo lies this culminating principle: never stray from the way. What is the way? Perhaps it's your personal moral compass, the set of principles you've refined through reflection, courage, and sincere self-examination. Maybe it's your devotion to a craft or a spiritual path that resonates deeply with your heart. Musashi uses the word way to describe a lifetime practice that integrates mind, body, and spirit. It's not about perfection. It's about sincerity and consistency. When you find yourself drifting lost in vanity, envy, or self-doubt, this principle gently calls you back, reminding you that your most authentic self yearns to walk in alignment with truth. Think of life as a vast and unpredictable sea, where storms of conflict and calm, waters of contentment ebb and flow. Having a guiding way is like having a compass that remains steady no matter how rough the waters become. It's a profound inner orientation that helps you stand firm against fleeting trends or the world's ever-shifting demands. By heeding Musashi's counsel and integrating these principles into your daily life, you gradually develop a serenity that allows you to embrace change with open arms, greet adversity with resilience, and cherish each moment with grateful awareness. In the end, Musashi's call is deceptively simple, yet all-encompassing. Walk your path with courage and integrity. Live fully, but lightly. Hold dear what truly matters and let go of what doesn't. Though he wrote these words in a secluded cave centuries ago, his insight continues to whisper across time, offering us a chance to quiet the clamor of modern life and reconnect with the timeless essence of who we are meant to be. So take a moment. Breathe deeply. Reflect on which of these principles speaks most strongly to your current season of life. Ask yourself, am I harnessing my emotions wisely? Am I weighed down by needless possessions or resentments? Am I sacrificing my true calling for fleeting pleasures? If any answers trouble you, remember that transformation starts not with self-judgment, but with self-awareness. In following your own way, however solitary or unconventional it might appear, you may discover a sense of belonging and harmony that no external approval can ever replicate. That is the promise behind the way of walking alone, that by carefully tending the seeds of authenticity, detachment and steadfastness, we bloom into the fullest version of ourselves, and in doing so, we become a quiet source of light for others, illuminating how to live rooted in a purpose rather than lost in distraction. Musashi's wisdom is not locked away in the past. It's alive in your next choice, your next breath, your next step forward along the way you alone can walk.